Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Blair Township Board of Trustees regular meeting of August 11th, 2020 to order at 6 p.m. Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sarah?
Yep.
Sunshine? Here. Fitzpatrick?
Here.
Wolfgang? Here. Campbell? Here. Zeitz?
Here.
Please. Here. Brief public input. Is there anybody here this evening from the public that would like to say anything? Approval of the agenda. I would like to put an addition to the agenda, sorry, everybody. I would like to add the item H.
F?
F? Yep, F. Land acquisition of foreclosed property in Blair Township.
I would move to approve the agenda with the addition. Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve the agenda with the addition of item H. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm used to having to roll call
I
everybody in
know.
our Zoom meetings.
I know. Yeah.
Item 6, declaration of conflict of interest. Is there anybody on the board this evening that has a conflict with anything that would be on the agenda, including item H that we just added? No? Presentations and special reports. Grand Traverse County Commissioner. Community Police Officer.
Good evening. The Blair Township Police Report for July 2020. Personal stats, arrests 0. We're still not arresting any misdemeanors. And even people that I have warrants for, usually I call them and tell them to turn themselves in, and they can't do that either. So. Citations 11, complaints 66, traffic crashes 7, warrants attained 4. On 7/11 of Blair Township, single woman came to me and she had a local guy living in Blair Township. She hired him to remodel her bathroom, paid him up front $2,800. He did a really bad job and then left and never came back and didn't complete the job. So all of that is civil, but I found out he's working without a license. So the prosecutor's office did charge him with that. There's currently a warrant for him, but he can't turn himself in. This is his second time. Last 2019, same thing happened. He scammed somebody, did a terrible job. They came to the police and he had another warrant for working without a builder's license. So that's unfortunate. He'll probably continue to do that to people. 7/15 on Ironwood, there was a domestic in somebody's front yard. The guy knocked down his girlfriend, knocked her down, punched her in the stomach, and a neighbor videotaped the whole thing. Then they went in the car and it looked like they were fighting. She came out and was bleeding, but they took off before I could get there. So that happened, which is kind of unusual. That report is still at the prosecutor's office. I called this one the switcheroo at Menards. Nicole liked this one. On the 22nd, this young lady came into Menards and she returned a dehumidifier she just purchased a couple days prior. Only she went home and put her old one in the box, taped it all back up, and then some guy in Sutton's Bay bought it, and he was not happy when he got home and saw this old nasty one inside there. So she admitted and got me the old one, so she was really nice about it.
Hopefully Menards will change their policy on returns. They
Yeah,
check the
overall.
boxes before they put them back on the shelves.
Yeah, that's not the first time that that's happened. The exact same thing. So That report is with the prosecutor's office. They have charged her, so. That's it. Any questions?
Are you guys not arresting people and putting them in jail because of COVID?
Yes.
That's the reason?
Mainly because of the prisons, so the guys in our jail that are waiting to go to prison, they don't want someone to get sick and take it to the prison. So if it's a domestic or an assault, that's a misdemeanor, they do go to jail. But just basic misdemeanors. Good to see you guys again.
You too. Thanks, Matt.
You take care.
Ventura County Road Commission.
I have to figure this all out where I'm gonna stand so I'm gonna go over here because it's a cool. Andy Reverend Traverse County Road Commission. It has been a weird year. We thought all kinds of cool things were gonna happen, and well, like you guys, our budget is a concern of ours, anywhere from 10 to 30%. We're still not sure what it's gonna be because of the reduction in people driving, the gas taxes, the registrations, the Secretary of State's office being closed down so people can't register their vehicles are gonna affect us. All kinds of things. So we're rolling with it the best we can. Our finance director is doing an amazing job working on where our money can come from, what projects are gonna cost, and how we're gonna move forward. So nothing's been affected this year. There's a couple of projects that are on hold because of contractor issues, because of the COVID. So there's nothing financially we're really stressed out about. Next year's budget, next year's project list is going to be where the big issues are, kind of like what you guys are probably going to face is what's going to happen with the finances coming from the state. Green Lake Township has a new road. Well, actually, the Grand Traverse County Road Commission has a new road without a name. It's M137 is no longer M137. We have taken that over from the state. Last night, my Zoom meeting I had with them, or WebEx, I was having internet issues, so I got a call today that they went with they made a resolution to call it old M137 when they contacted Grand Traverse County Equalization. That way anyone who lives on there or works on there or has stationary or any of that, it's not going to have to change everything they've got right now, hopefully. Is kind of the thought pattern. I support that. I think that's a good idea. I thought it was an opportunity for the township to come up with some creative name that would help fit their whole master plan they've got there to help make it a more country feel. But old M137 is kind of old feeling. I don't know. But business-wise, I think it helps the business owners there.
Well, don't we have old M137 is our West Mill Road?
Yeah.
But it's old M137. We already have that name.
Old.
Interlochen?
Denied.
Isn't it?
I'll let them know that Blair Township said they can't do it. I'm sure that'll go over well.
Yeah.
Isn't it just old M37?
Yeah.
You have old M137.
Okay.
I may have misspoke. It's, the mask and the
Okay.
oxygen depletion.
Back on the table for the old.
Okay.
So, I got a call from one of the employees there at Green Lake that Equalization is concerned that MDOT may not allow old and include the M137 in the name. I don't know if the policies have changed, if the state's doing something different than they used to. That could be an issue or not, so they're contacting the state now to make sure that they can use that name. Like everything government related, it goes really slow. Our crews are out working right now, doing everything they can maintenance-wise. We're finishing up all of our summer projects. And although it's been hotter than all can be the last couple of days, one of the things that we are starting to look forward to or plan or work at is winter maintenance. We're getting sand, we're getting salt, we're getting our trucks all ready to get ready, put our winter stuff back on, because in the world of government, it's not that far away.
How are you?
That's about all I've got. Chris, that's my seat. You can sit up there, sir, that'd be fine. That's all I've got from the road commission at this point. Is there any questions?
Have you guys taken over the section of 137 on the peninsula?
We have not, as they need to have a public hearing because of the designation that the state has on it. Once again, because of the COVID crisis that we're in, they have not scheduled a public hearing because of the restrictions that are put on the public gatherings. They anticipate that room being packed because of the political nature between the road commission and the township right now out there.
Correct. And just to put it out there, because we may get questioned on this, with the financial situation that's happening with Grand Traverse County Road
Mhm.
and the possible deficits, or at least for sure the cuts.
Right.
Backs. Does it make sense at this point for Grand Traverse County Road to be obtaining state roads and taking them
Oh,
on?
yes.
Okay, so
Oh,
what
yes.
is the benefit? I mean, we've had this, but for.
They are
what is the
giving
benefit
us
of
a
that?
large sum of money to take that road back over to bring it back up to the standards that they were gonna do.
Okay,
They were gonna go through contracts that had to qualify, that had to pay prevailing wage, had to pay, their costs are just much higher. So we can do the same work they were gonna do cheaper through our contractors. And they're giving us an additional cost per lane mile, or per mile, for us to maintain the road in perpetuity. So we're getting more money than we would through the traditional Act
so
51
County
money.
Road is making money.
So this is actually, unless they screw around with Act 51, gonna be financially beneficial to Grand Traverse County Road Commission. And no, the money's not gonna stay on that road, it's gonna be spread through the Grand Traverse County Road Commission's general fund. Green Lake Township doesn't get all that money for for what's formerly known as M137, and Peninsula Township is not gonna get that money for what was out there, it's for the
Operating expense.
entire, because our staff has to do all the work, not just out there.
Well, I- Thanks, Andy.
It's good to see you guys in not a little heated. Yeah.
Treasurer's report?
All right. For the general fund, we have $3,486,042. For the fire and police, we have $697,484. For the ambulance fund, we have $722,948. For the Metro Ag Fund, we have $77,520. For the liquor law and license fund, we have $25,226. For the sewer fund, we have $1,859,265. The water fund, we have $2,164,063. Current tax collection is $785,106. Payroll clearing is $161. And the milfoil fund is $8,387 for a total of $9,826,201.71.
Any questions for Tracy? No? No questions? Announcements and correspondence.
I have something I would like to say. Last Tuesday's election went very smoothly. I was shocked. If you had told me the week before that it was going to go that smooth, I would not have believed you. There was a lot of preparation going into it. There was a lot of hard work that day, and I would like to publicly thank some people, and I'm going to name names. It's going to take a minute, but first of all, Cindy Wixel, my election workers, Rebecca Eitzen, Kara Clary, Emily Weller, Michelle Nolan, Diana Elliott, Stephen Weller, Gresham Eitzen, Michelle Conway, Karen Cascadden, Scott Conway, Melissa Smith, Dawn Conway, oh, Scott wasn't here, I forgot, but Renee Stevens, Brian Stevens, Joanne Tuck, Rosie Yetter, Deb Christensen, Tammy Rickard, Dana Cowell, Lynn Evinger, Danielle Begnowski, Alexa Patton, Teresa Voice, Teresa Kalunda, Diane Stockfish, Elaine Fleece, Sally Gore, Linda Maginity, Steve Guidebeck, Aaron Plowman, John Stockfish, John Hamstra, Nicole Blomshine, Tracy Campbell, Jake Campbell, Matt Tallman, Dan Kreft, Amy Wiggins, and Mike Luther. I think I have everybody, but if I missed anybody, I deeply apologize. But thank you so much. We couldn't have done it with all you guys. And this was definitely a team effort. Tracy and Jake found some election inspectors for me. We put a thing out on Facebook that we needed election inspectors. We got a few responses from there. Some of these people hadn't even worked elections before, but we had a week to get them trained by the county, and they went out and everybody did an awesome job. So thank you.
Good to hear.
Thank you.
Applause.
Thank you. Thank God it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till November.
Just to clear things up for November,
Yes.
is Tracy Nicole willing to do the kitchen again?
Well, of course, your
Okay.
election worker, they're expecting it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We might have made too much.
It's better than not enough.
Today I submitted our first PFAS grant reimbursement form to Eagle. We had been waiting on getting the documentation of the wells being plugged. So we finally were able to get 6 confirmations of the wells being plugged. So we submitted today for $42,600. That's the first submittal in our $96,000 grant that we won. So hopefully I'll hear back from them tomorrow and all that paperwork will go smoothly. The invoice was submitted to the clerk's office today, so. And we're one step closer to winning the grant money for the CARE Act for the hazardous pay for our people.
Excellent.
So just waiting for the final thumbs up on that.
Good job on all of that.
And still just constantly looking with all of these grant opportunities that are coming through because of this situation. Just saw one today where there's an opportunity to perhaps have a new web designer for our township webpage if we're willing to host specific, did I say PFAS? I meant COVID. Did I say PFAS?
Well, the first grant you
No, that was
ordered.
PFAS,
Yeah.
yeah. I almost
Yeah.
said PFAS, but COVID. If we're willing to have an icon where people could click on a link for education and all of that. So we're looking into that now. I mean, any opportunity we can, if they're giving the money out, then I'm all about at least trying. So feel free when you're scrolling through MTA stuff, Cooch, when you see opportunities like that, jump on them. That's all we have released 91 butterflies as of today. Yeah. We have about 50 in chrysalis state and 30 caterpillars still eating, so. We are doing our part for pollination in this township. That's all I have. Anybody have anything else? Consent calendar. The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with in one board motion without any discussion. Any member of the board may ask that any item of the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected.
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Didn't we have some corrections?
I did have
to that?
Yeah, I have a couple corrections to minutes. I'll just hand them out. It's simple stuff.
I already wrote them down on mine.
Yeah, just third line down, there were 5 in parentheses, 6 guests in attendance. And just separating the weed trim and operations service report, it said no engineer present, but operations services always submit, so you got them?
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I need.
Oh,
I would make a motion to approve the consent calendar with the corrections to the minutes.
I-
It's been moved and supported to approve the consent calendar with the corrections of the July 14th minutes as printed out. Roll call?
Zeitz,
Yes.
Kutrop,
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Wolfgang,
yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Flanschein.
Yes. Unfinished business, discussion regarding township fall cleanup day, which is scheduled for, off the top of my head, September 17th. 19th, I was close. Saturday the 19th. I need the board to discuss this. I would like to not actually discuss this. I want you guys to discuss it and talk about it, because let's pretend Nicole's not even gonna be there. So I need input. We need, number one, we need a lot of volunteers to help. Number two, we still have restrictions in place. I know most of the time people are in their cars. So I need you guys on your thought. I can tell you this, we can tell that we didn't have a spring one. And we have an ordinance enforcement officer who works full-time now. So the harder he enforces, the more dumping we're having down in Hoosier Valley. Township cleanup day is vital to this community. And I was just saying, I'm not gonna be there, of course I'll be there. But I want you guys to talk about it and make a commitment to help me with this one, because it's gonna be tough. And it's tough without this going on, but we need help. So, thoughts?
The most contact during those cleanups is on the garbage trucks when you have 2 or 3 people. We're all wearing masks, we're fine. You know, I don't see anything wrong with it. Everybody pulls in, most of them stay in their car, so,
That's the truth.
you know, they don't help me unload this stuff.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
I canceled my 3-day golf outing for this, so we're doing it.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. I'll call American Waste and make sure I can't
Yeah, if they can do it,
100%
they're fine.
positive for them, but I'll call and make sure that we're still on. And like you said, that was my thinking also, when we're unloading, it's usually the operator
Yeah.
of the truck and then one of us
Volunteer.
helping,
Yeah.
and the people generally stay in their car.
And it's really needed, you know, it'll start trashing up so bad.
Yeah, I went
I agree.
out last week or 2 weeks ago with the DNR down through Hoosier Valley, and we pinned 9 dump spots, and that's with ferns that are as tall as I am. So I can't even imagine what it's gonna look like down there in the spring. And again, it's like, we have an ordinance enforcement officer doing his job, and so I think it's important to the community that we do this.
Absolutely.
Okay, Nicole, definitely, I will be here. I've been to every one, okay? And I think you're right, I think it's fantastic. Just like you said, because we didn't have the one in the spring, everything's getting dumped somewhere else. And I've got some neighbors that that need this thing. And I will try and make sure I go out and get other people to help, not just me, okay? And my wife may not be, because of course we have grandkids on weekends, okay? But I'll try and see if I can get my son-in-law, my neighbor that normally helps me and all that. I'll try and see if I can get 3 or 4 more people, okay? Because I think it's ever since we brought it back, we've made Blair Township cleaner and better. And I want to make sure it keeps going.
Even if we could rotate in shifts, because I know by the end of the day, when we're done, those of us who are working unloading loads can barely walk
Oh,
at
yeah.
the end of the day.
And even with me, on my part, even if I'm just standing out there and I direct traffic, you're right. After
Oh, well, I'll trade you
8 hours,
spots.
it's 6, 8 hours of standing there, and you're right, and going like this, go you over here.
Yeah.
And, but at least I'm out there, right?
So you're in favor of it? Everybody's in favor of?
I'm in
snow
favor.
over-
I'm trying to get more
favor of
cars than
it.
we've
Waste
had
is on.
before.
All right, I'll make the call tomorrow.
September when?
And if every board,
19.
if all the board members, or as many as possible, could recruit a couple volunteers, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. New business. Public hearing for Edward Rose and Son. This applicant, Edward Rose and Son, they are requesting a special use site plan review to establish a multifamily development with 10 buildings having a total of 300 apartment units, also including a 6,536 square foot complex community building and with an outdoor swimming pool and an 1,836 square foot maintenance building. This is on parcel number 2802-005-002-30. Located on the property south of Ready School Road and west of US 31, and adjacent to Blaine's Farm and Fleet. And I will go ahead and open up public hearing at 6:26.
Got me go ahead and start?
Sure.
All right. Unfortunately, people behind me can't see real well, but, good evening, I'm Kirsten Rhymes with Edward Rose and Sons. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present and give you a little bit of information on our company. I'm gonna start out with that. We're a family-owned business. We, the Rose family has, the main corporate headquarters are in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. And then we have an office in Kalamazoo and Flint, Michigan, and then another office in Indianapolis, Indiana. The Rose family got their start in single-family construction back in 1921, and they have been building ever since. In the 60s, they switched to multifamily, and that is the main emphasis of the company today. We also do senior living. It has started a few years ago and has had a great success in that as well. We handle all phases of development for the apartment communities, everything from land development to construction to also maintenance and management of the facilities. Multifamily investments are often very popular investment portfolios, so they change hands multiple times. They are run by outside management companies, and so they have very little connection to the communities that they serve. We're different. We maintain our ownership. I don't think we've sold anything, at least the Kalamazoo office has not, since the mid-'80s. So we're going to hold on to this. We're invested in our community. We want to make sure that our residents are happy with the place that they've chosen to live and that it's maintained well, and it's a good spot in the community. This will be our first development in the Traverse City area. However, we have several in Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo and throughout Michigan. So we are very familiar with Michigan. As you mentioned, you kind of laid out our development in the public hearing proposal. We have 300 units. This is the site. So this is the extension of Stadium Drive. Rennie School is on the north side of the site, and so just a little bit to the east is the Blaine's Farm and Fleet. And so this is a site that is completely undeveloped at this point. So we're going to develop. It's about 28.5 acres. We have 3 size buildings proposed. There's a 24-unit building, a 30-unit building, and a 36-unit building. All except for this far end building are what we call bridge buildings, where it is 2 stories on the parking lot side, and then the back of the building is kind of like a walkout where it's 3 stories. On the front side, there's a retaining wall in the front with some windows on that lower floor, so it still does get daylight on both sides of the buildings. And the units go straight through, so each unit has its own either patio or balcony. This building that is a little bit different is our standard 3-story, where all 3 stories are above grade both sides. We'll plan on having 2 entrances off of Stadium Drive with the new extension. There's one here coming in that will come in near the community building, which will have the leasing office, a community room, as you mentioned, the pool and the fitness center, along with our maintenance building. Further down will be another drive that comes in, so there's 2 points of access for emergency services and for our residents to have easy in and out close to their units. All of these are 1 and 2 bedroom units. They're all market rate units. The exterior of the buildings, colors may vary from what you see. Oh, thank you very much. But for the most part, they're stone and brick on mostly on the first and second stories for the most part. And then siding up on the third stories. There's some shake siding mixed in there and some color differential. So it makes it have more of a residential feel. It brings the scale down so these don't look like as large as what they truly are. And then this is just a look at the community building as well. So it's the materials on that will be very similar to what we're looking at for the unit buildings as well. Because of the low inventory of housing in this area, our success in Michigan, we think this is a great place to invest, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want me to stay up here for questions?
Oh, yeah, does anybody have any questions for Christy?
Do they have elevators?
They do not. There are very few units on the first floor. Also, our garage is I believe typically we have about 2%, which is the EDA requirement for that, will be barrier free. So there are garages, and I didn't mention that. There's anywhere between 6 to 10 garage units per building. So there is some covered parking if people choose. It's about a third of the units that can get a covered space. But no, all of the units on the first floor are at some capacity a barrier free unit.
So the residents can use the garage, that would be an extra charge?
Correct.
Okay. And what size is the community building? How many square feet about is it?
You said it's about 3,000.
I got it
don't
down.
know off the top of my head. I should write that one down.
That's
So,
okay.
yeah.
Is 6,536 square foot.
Yeah, it's a decent size. Yeah, it has a large community building or community room with a kitchen, as well as this, on the lower part of this, you'll come around the other side is where the maintenance will be, so that there's a large maintenance area as part of that, and then is the office for the manager, as well as leasing offices.
So it's only 1 and 2 bedroom, there's,
Correct, no 3-bedroom, just 1 and 2.
wow.
Just to put it out there, we've talked about this before, but approximately how many employees do you think that your company will be hiring?
Typically, we have about 6 to 8, is that for the size development, possibly up to a dozen?
It'll be closer to 20.
20? Oh,
Yes.
excuse me.
So
I'm
not
thinking
only
office
bringing
staff,
in
there's also
housing,
maintenance,
but
maintenance
bringing
and
in
yard or lawn
jobs.
care.
Anybody else have any questions? I'm really excited about this.
That
Appreciate you.
looks like
It's
quite a
really
project.
nice.
We think it'll be a great area.
Yeah. That's your fire EMS crew behind you. Do you guys have any questions about the new building?
I lived there in Kalamazoo, and I'm pretty sure I lived there. Especially when I saw Stadium Drive, I was like, yeah. So I've lived
Different
in
Stadium Drive though.
Right, but they're nice though. They are nice. And they're well maintained.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Is there any other public hearing is still open, any other public comments? Lisa, did you receive any pros or cons from the mailers that went out?
No, we had a couple people come in, look at the plans, and, also silver medals and Stafford medals and stuff around there, but, no, I mean, between the plantings and the landscape berms and stuff, I think that's what they were worried about mostly, was noise and traffic and lights and stuff, but it's nothing negative.
Right, and just so the board
Nice.
knows, I have not received any emails or phone calls or anything negative. There was people at the planning commission who asked really valid questions, and they were answered, and they were the questions people were asking, people seemed satisfied. So I haven't received anything either.
Nicole, as a road commissioner, speaking as one, not the board, I am very happy to see the development that's going on to that piece of property. Extremely happy to see that as a solo, one road commissioner, speaking for himself,
Yeah.
not for the board. It makes that vote much easier to have made.
Yeah. Any other input or comments? We're gonna close the public hearing. We're gonna close the public hearing at 7:35. She doesn't have COVID, just for the record. This is her norm. If she wasn't coughing, we'd be worried.
Yeah, if she wasn't coughing, she'd probably be down.
Hear me over the
6:35.
I'm sorry. She's got COVID, I got it too, so.
Do we have a
No,
manager?
she doesn't.
No. Not unless the tones go off.
Okay, item B, authorized credit card user. Oh, wait.
The whole reason I'm here.
Kristen, this isn't a jail.
I wondered, yeah.
Wait till the end.
Right.
Build suspense.
I would make a motion to approve special use case number SUSPR 20-07-01 as it meets the standards of approval in section 2204 A through G in the Blair Township zoning ordinances.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve special use case SUSPR 20-07-1 as it meets standard of approval 2204 A through G and all of our zoning ordinance requirements. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Please,
Yes.
Kuchar,
Yes.
Wolfgang,
Yes.
Blondheim,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Zeitz,
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Jesus. Seriously, it's not COVID.
Guess she didn't go out for a loud smoke break before the meeting.
Item B, authorized credit card users.
I know I'm not.
Somewhere, this, you have it, this right here. You don't need it.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you want me to just make a motion?
I want you to.
What do you want me to do?
Do you want me to explain?
For Cindy to be able to talk to credit card services about township credit cards, she has to be added as an authorized user on the credit card. To add her as an authorized user, forefront requires minutes from the meeting with a motion stating that we would like to add her as an authorized user. I have shredded Eric Darling's card and also put a block on it. We need to remove him as an authorized user. I will go ahead and entertain a motion.
And just to go on, Cindy's the one that orders our supplies most of the time.
I would make a motion to add Cindy Wixel as an authorized user on the credit card and to remove Eric Darling as an authorized user on the credit card.
It's been moved and supported to authorize Cindy Wixel. Why don't you excuse yourself? Authorize Cindy Wixel as an authorized user on the township credit card to remove Eric Darling. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Zeitz,
Yes.
Wolfgang,
Yes.
Kuchar,
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Blondheim.
Yes. And then just document your notes that the clerk has left the meeting at 6:39 because we're moving on to item C. Hiring full-time paramedic firefighter Jacob Delapiga. Did I say it right?
Thank you.
Eric Sanso.
So, as I said in my report, I want to say thanks to Doug Fitzpatrick, Frank Craft, Jake Campbell, and Larry Mueller from the Traverse City Fire Department coming down for the interview committee. That's my really good candidate, and I think the support of the township board and having the positive attitude of our current staff, we draw in some very good advocates such as Jake. I think we're really lucky to have him part of this department.
I'll make a motion to hire Jacob Delapiga as a full-time paramedic firefighter with Blair Township Fire and EMS Local Union 4355.
What is his start date?
Support. We're gonna make a start date for tomorrow.
Effective tomorrow, August 12th, 2020. Any discussion? I just want to say also, we thank Eric tremendously for the interview committee that he has been setting up for the hiring of these newer employees that we've had. We've got qualified candidates applying. It's very competitive here at Blair Township. I, as the supervisor of this township and a previous employee of 4355, am super duper proud. I appreciate the thought, the interview committee, and our employees and our candidates. So, thanks. Let's continue to make me proud. Any other discussion? No. Roll call?
Flanschein.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Wolfgang. Zeitz.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Fleece.
Yes.
Kutra.
Yes.
Welcome, Jacob. Do you go by Jake or Jacob?
Jake,
Jake, okay.
Welcome, Jake.
Welcome aboard.
thank you, ma'am.
I don't like Digger's mask. He looks
I know.
stealthy.
You don't like what, Jake?
Digger's mask, he looks stealthy.
Item D, hire part-time paramedic firefighter Erica Allwarden.
So, like I said, the competition was huge this go around. Erica went into her interview and basically impressed the interview committee so much. They recommended that we hire her as a part-time employee. I believe she said she'd also be interested in OT, kind of the educational basis part of it. So we'd really like to bring Erica as a part-time paramedic.
I'd make a motion to hire part-time paramedic firefighter Erica Allwood.
Support. It's been moved and supported to hire part-time paramedic firefighter Erica Allwarden. Any discussion?
When's the start date?
Tomorrow? Got that right? Okay. Again, I'll just say, we're lucky. We're lucky. And again, to have an actual interview committee that's unbiased, that's professional, it's awesome. And it's cool that you recognize potential in applicants. I understand that she is a firefighter also, a little bit weaker, but comes from a huge fire family. So good, bring on another woman. Roll call?
Fleece.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Kutra.
Yes.
Zeitz.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Flanschein.
Yes.
Wolfgang.
Item E, declare section unit with tag number 1369 as surplus.
Some of our suction units are eating out as far as ability to repair and expense of repair. So this suction unit is going to become a parts machine until I believe we have enough for each unit, but this is a point where repair cost more than the actual machine is worth. So it's going to be placed on the shelf of the part machine, so we just want to declare it surplus.
Can I ask what a suction unit is?
Out of your
Never
mouth.
been to the gym?
Oh,
Right.
you guys have those?
Ours are more powerful for vomit.
Oh.
Aren't you glad you asked?
Yeah, right. I was afraid to ask, but
I'll make a motion to declare section unit with tag number 1369 as surplus.
Support.
Roll call?
Flanschein.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Fleece.
Yes.
Kutra.
Yes.
Wolfgang. Zeitz. Zeitz.
Item F, land acquisition of foreclosed property.
Okay. So we have, I just started talking. Holy smokes. Right. Talking about clearing out a room.
I was gonna say, someone knows how to clear a room.
I don't, right. I haven't even brought the karaoke machine out yet. Man, that was a little ego.
I
Deflated.
noticed they waited until she turned it over to you.
Yeah, as soon as I started. Anyways, we only have one tax foreclosure property from the county, thank goodness, this year. And it's 4866 Luann Lane. To clear it up with the county, we paid $3,375. And then we can purchase, we have the right to refuse it, and the county will then sell it, and that, or we have the first right to purchase it. And that what we're thinking is to purchase this property and start doing some, and we talked to Heidi about this because there was a question on this property being in bankruptcy, but it's not. So to purchase property, have Alpers come in, remove all the stuff that's on the property, and do like an urban cleanup where we have this little property, and what we are hoping to do is these areas that we start doing this with, give them a little community property, have them take some pride in it, you know, and do a little urban cleanup, giving them a little community space for the residents of that area. So this would be the first one for Luann Lane.
I think it's an absolutely excellent idea. And if we could start with one and do it right.
Right, and just see how it goes.
Right. Exactly.
Right, I mean, we won't learn.
If it fell through, you could sell it to a builder.
Right,
Put something.
right.
Not for a profit, no.
No, okay.
Right.
Well,
That's the one thing when township
Okay.
is able to obtain the property for the tax foreclosure price, we could not turn around and resell it for profit.
Okay. Well,
But
could you sell
I
it
think,
That cost.
at that cost?
yeah,
Okay.
And probably what we put
the
to clean it up.
cleanup.
Right. But I think by, and then meeting with neighbors and getting them to know what we're doing. And
Yeah.
get them up and excited. Oh my
Right.
gosh, have their own little park.
I think
Right.
they would love it.
Exactly. Any input from you, Matt? I respect your opinion. We're talking about, property, demoing the mobile home that's on it, cleaning it out, clearing it out, and just having a green space, open space for that neighborhood area.
Like the picnic tables?
Where they could have their picnic table, they could have their birthday party, stuff that sometimes takes place out here, but they could actually do it right in their subdivision.
Yeah, I think it'd be-
If we have, problems with
We'll see how it
prior
goes.
vandalism, we can set up cameras or, just do some community outreach, but just as a way to start,
Who would mow it?
our contracted mold people.
We do the maintenance.
Yep. In liability, if we were to purchase something like this, we would just call Paul Olson and
Add it to
add
our
it to our liability policy, which I imagine there wouldn't be a lot of liability on a vacant lot. I mean, we're not gonna put a splash pad there or
Jungle
swing
gym or-
set.
They'll want us to probably, but.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
That's what Heidi said this originally was made for a right to purchase the foreclosed property for public, to do a lot of the same thing as for urban cleanup. And instead of having them sell it to another slumlord or something, and then it just turns into another bad property, but
what's it gonna cost us to get the place cleaned up?
Well, we'd have to take bids on it, of course, but I just know from doing dangerous buildings and having some of the mobile homes on a couple lots cleaned up, with the bids that have come in, which was not me, it was the township when we went after the property owners for their dangerous building. I know Elpers have won the bid. I know the one next to you was $3,000, but that I think was a cash deal, and it was made between Elpers and that property owner. But they come in, the mobile home's gone, they clear that lot, and you can't even tell there was anything ever there.
When they had the house down the street, a day and a half, everything was just right down to the ground. And that was open stuff, you know?
Right. So I would say anywhere $3,000 to $5,000.
Okay, Nicole, you asked, you wanted us to bring our concerns, okay? And I did, by emailing you back and forth. And I want to thank you. And I'm glad I did that because right now, I think it's a great idea. I do. I had some concern, and you answer those questions.
Well, that was
So
why.
That's why I want to thank you, because I knew
And
you
no
wanted it
decisions
before
was
me.
made via email. I just put it out there via
Yeah.
email because this is very time sensitive, because the county has, when it goes to auction time, and I didn't want, if anybody had any questions that Tracy and I couldn't answer tonight, I wanted a few hours' notice to get a hold of Heidi to
Mhm.
be able to answer those questions, because again, this is tax foreclosure sale. And
Right. Because we had questions, so we got Heidi on the phone
Yeah.
to ask her our questions, because we heard it was in part of a bankruptcy, but
right, it was a land contract originally, and the person who entered into a land contract with the owners had gone into a bankruptcy, but not with this property. So we had to do some research, but I just didn't want to not be able to answer questions if you guys had any questions about it tonight.
Who is Heidi?
County treasurer
Oh, okay.
and the land bank
Yeah.
treasurer,
Oh, okay.
she's on the land bank.
the land bank board.
Yeah.
I can just envision in my head, you know, a green space on Luann Lane, a green space on West Mobile, a green space on East Mobile. And we have some really great people in those areas. I mean, I could rattle off some first names on Luann who I know would be super excited about something like that and would help police it and help. Just try and think of something to bring a sense of pride to some of those areas when we have prices like this where we could obtain them, rather than somebody buying it at tax foreclosure, putting $100 into it and then turning it back into another rental, and it's just a cycle.
I think it's an excellent idea, and also I'd love to see expansion, because we don't have any other parks other than this one within our.
Correct.
So it would give an opportunity for
Correct.
small parks throughout the area
Mm-hmm,
that are, that each town, or each community can take pride in.
right.
Correct.
That's
And there's lots of grant dollars available for
Parks.
small parks in implementing things like this. Because it's time sensitive, if we make a motion tonight to approve this, to move forward with it, I'm just trying to think, should we put a dollar amount on it? Or, I mean, we'll be able to bring it back next month.
Yeah,
I mean, we have to
right.
purchase it this month, so never mind, I was just thinking out
Yeah.
loud.
Isn't the price set by the county on that one?
It's the amount owed by, back taxes?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, taxes haven't been paid on that property since 2017.
Well, I'd make a motion to approve for a land acquisition of the foreclosed property at 4486 Luann Lane,
4866.
4866.
Mm-hmm. It's parcel number 02-520-01000.
Now support that.
It's been moved and supported to approve the land acquisition. property at 4866 Luann Lane. It is in tax foreclosure. Should we put the amount in the motion?
Yeah.
Probably.
3375.
Yes.
For $3,375. Any further discussion? I know it sounds silly, but I'm super excited about this. This is all part of my vision that I had in my head 4 years ago when I came into office about ways to bring this community together and,
Well, I don't know, like the city has it, okay, there's one off of Madison Street, there's the one over by the old senior high. They've got these little teeny parks, you know, Clancy Park and all that.
you know,
And it's great because even like Clancy Park, one of I call my old boss, that was when I was a teenager, when I was cooking Sports Restaurant in Kansas Plaza. He in turn thought that was a great idea to have a community park. And go Clint Spory for 35 years, put an ice skating rink in to help his neighbors. And we may get, like you said, we may get something like that. We don't know, I mean, how do you know unless you try? Just like,
Right.
we want to do
right,
this.
right, and the price is right on this
And
one.
the price is right, and, I mean, I asked about the trash dumpster and all that, you know, but you're right, and maybe, since it's close, I can go by sometime, just to take a look at it, make sure everything.
Well, I would hope that you would. I
Yeah.
hope that you would do that regularly as part
Yeah, so, yeah.
of not only that community, but
Yeah.
as this board member, that
Yeah.
you would, yeah.
Yeah, because you're right, I think it's a great idea, right, because a board member is not just a person that just sits down at meetings, no, that's not, you know, it's
Right.
not. You have to, I learned that through Grand Traverse County, so, but anyway, yeah. Cool.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Please.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Kuchera.
Yes.
Zeiss.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Lonsheim.
Yes.
Wolfgang.
Yes.
Item 12, extended public input. Good to you.
All right. My name's Greg Hall. I'm running for sheriff in this race, so against the incumbent Tom Bensley. Just kind of making my rounds, wanted to introduce myself. I don't really have any big pitch tonight, but I think it's important as not only as a candidate, but if elected, to be engaged in each of the individual townships. So made it out to Mayfield last night and thought I'd come visit you guys tonight. I just have a very different vision of what law enforcement should look like compared to what we see today. I've been really on both sides of the fence back in the day. It's been 15, 20 years ago. I worked in law enforcement for about a 12-year stint between law enforcement, private security, and the military. And I've also had a lot of family members in the system. I lost a 32-year-old brother to opioid abuse a few years ago. So really been on both sides of the spectrum there. I've seen some of the successes of the system, and I've seen a lot of the failures of the system. Again, not really here to do a pitch tonight, but just wanted to introduce myself, and I'll be around afterwards if anyone wants to talk or ask questions. My website's out there, it's just gtsheriff.com, pretty easy, so you can learn a little bit more about what I stand for. But just real quick in a nutshell, basically I believe law enforcement has a very unique opportunity to impact the lives of people, and so many times that's a negative experience, and I want to turn that around and make it into a positive experience. A lot of my campaigning has to do with jail reforming what happens down on Washington Street. I believe we have a captive audience down there, and we really should take advantage of that opportunity and make sure people come out on the other side of that experience a better person. That we're giving them the tools, we're giving them the resources, we're giving them the training, not just what's mandated by the courts, but what we know that person needs to be successful on the other side. So very pro-law enforcement, all this defunding talk and all that's not me. Very pro-law enforcement, but also just pro-people. I believe we need to do a better job of taking care of people. I forget the officer's name.
Matt Kirchhoff.
He mentioned earlier about the, not locking people up right now for minor misdemeanors. The state did had a task force last year. They put out the recommendations this January, and one of those is really looking at that very issue. Should we be locking up people for some of these petty offenses? If you look at the arrest trends, significant portion of the people in jail are in there for traffic-related offenses. So a lot of it's driving on a suspended license, for example. If you look at how that license ended up suspended, it wasn't suspended for any reason related to safe driving. And so it was for a completely unrelated offense. So does it make sense to throw that person in jail knowing that they're going to stay there 1 day, 2 days, 3 days until they bail out, and then cry that we have a jail overcrowding problem? Well, it's overcrowded because we're putting people in the system that don't need to be there. There's a lot of jail alternatives. There's a lot of diversion programs. We've seen some successes in the community with drug court and whatnot, but I believe there's a lot more to be done there. So that's kind of what my platform's all about. And again, I'll be around if anyone has questions. Thank you.
Would you take your mask off so they can see your face?
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to. I can breathe now.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Okay, now put it back on before we die.
I was going to say, is that all you wanted? Why are you going to ask me to put it back on then?
It's annoying not to see people's faces.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we don't
Known Andy for a while,
we
so
don't need him.
tell you a little bit about me as well.
Oh, you don't want to hear what I got to say?
Yeah, probably not. So, trying to think how we first met.
I don't even remember, it's been so long.
Yeah, been in Traverse City most of my life. I was born here. I did live down in the Kalamazoo area, and then of course with the military traveled quite a bit. Been around the community a long time. I just believe in loving on people. That's kind of my life mission. Andy knows the story, but a couple of years ago I had the pleasure of donating a kidney to a stranger. It's just the type of person I want to be, and I want to see that incorporated into the way we police our community.
What military are you in?
Air Force. Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, very good.
Behind me, though.
I don't see anybody else here for public input, so let's close this meeting and then we can talk to Greg on camera.
I was over by the Plaska building yesterday. That is awesome.
Are you adjourned?
Nice job.
I know, it's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
Talk about an improvement.
Are we
Yeah.
adjourned?
What time are we at?